Welcome to YellBro. I am Jordan, and today Peter Thiel is being asked a weird question, but I think we might get a weird answer too. And the question is, like, would you prefer the human race to endure? It's like that's just that's a strange question. I don't even know what that means, but I guess we're gonna find out. But first, don't forget to share support. Hopefully, donate to all the links in the description box. Check them out, read them, share them, then donate. Thank you. All right, so we all know Palantir Peter, and there's like a whole tech bro crew that got bullied in high school, so they take it out on the rest of humanity. They try to turn us into AI. They're trying to change us into AI too, along with them. And I mean, I'm joking, but at the same time, it's like you guys are going a little too far. Like, have you guys thought about it at least just a little bit first, just a tiny bit? Or have you been spending so much time pursuing something that you didn't let's say sweep the walkway while you're trying to walk your path, right? They're just running through a bunch of broken glass and shit on the fucking on the walkway, and dog shit and mud everywhere, and they don't fucking clean it. They just run right through it and expect other motherfuckers to do it for them. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a little metaphor, But you know what? I heard this, but I'm like, I didn't really hear it. Like, I've heard this video already, but I didn't really like hardcore listen to it. I was like, that's weird. So now I'm gonna give it a real listen. I love talking about, philosophy and sociology and psychology and stuff like that. Not that I'm an expert, but I mean, I'm an expert for me, but not for the world, if you will. So you know what? I'm gonna have some fun with this, and also, I might freak out too. You never know. But without further ado, I believe this is New York Times interviewing Peter Thiel about the endurance of the human race. Like, isn't that something you ask like a Star Wars character, like a sort of Death Star employee? God. Anyways, here we go.
You would prefer the human race to endure, right?
It's fucking you asked someone though.
You're hesitating.
Yeah, well,
yes.
I don't know. I would.
I don't know.
I would.
This is a long hesitation. This is a long hesitation.
There's so many questions implicit
Should
in this.
the human race survive?
Yes.
Okay.
But I also would. I also would like us to radically solve these problems,
Right.
and so it.
Well, what problems do you mean, Peter?
It's always, I don't know, transhumanism is this.
Like, how'd you get there?
The ideal was this radical transformation where your human natural body gets transformed into an immortal body. And there's a critique.
Now, hold on. Now, I wonder if he means something like taking your consciousness and putting it into like this robot body that lasts forever. Or does he mean the technology will be so good that even when your brain or your heart or your body parts break down, it can just be easily rebuilt, which means essentially you could live forever, right? Maybe he means it in that sense. Like, even like aging and things, right? There's like chemical components to these things. But as far as I've observed in nature, even with technology, everything breaks down. Like, it all breaks down. And I would wonder how you would recycle that. I mean, typically in today's world, what we see happening is that it's only for a privileged amount of people. The rest, it's like, oh, hey, you weren't meant to make it. But then again, I mean, maybe he'll explain what he means by that. Or as of right now, this could mean 10 million different things of quote-unquote transhumanism. All right, here we go.
Transformed into an immortal body. And there's a critique of,
immortal
let's say,
there, Peter.
The trans people in a sexual context, or I don't know, transvestite is someone who changes their clothes and cross dresses. And a transsexual is someone where you change your, I don't know, penis into a vagina. And we can then debate how well those surgeries work. But we want more transformation than that. It's the critique is not that it's weird and unnatural. It's, man, it's so pathetically little. And okay, we want more than cross-dressing or changing your sex organs. We want you to be able to change your heart and change your mind and change your whole body. And
okay. So I guess he does mean like you're a car and you can change the parts out with newer versions of something. And I guess I assume the existential question there is like, what makes us us? Like, what makes you you? What makes me me? Like, what are those components? And as far as like okay, even interesting enough when he brings up the trans community, I guess the gender stuff, right? I mean, I never looked at that as hyper, like a scientific venture. That always seemed, for the most part, existential or conditioned, right? There's, once again, there's real ones and there's fake ones in every type of group you pick out, right? There's motherfuckers that truly are expressing themselves existentially, and part of an existential process, for trans or not, as far as my opinion goes, is there's like the sense of self has an androgyny to it, right? You can have dudes that like chick flicks, right? Quote unquote chick flicks, socially speaking. Just like you can have dudes who want to be women or whatever. It's the same thing to me. It's existential expression in a way. Something caught their eye at a certain age. You're like, wow, that looks interesting. I want to pursue that.
You're down for both of us.
What? Some people like to they want to transform into even dumber versions than they already are. Dubster, can you explain that one for us? Go ahead.
Nah,
Your floor's yours. Oh, nothing. All right. It's a weird phenomenon.
Speaking stupidity.
Like, damn, can I get dumber? Is that even possible? Let me try. Well, anyways, but these are just existential in nature. Now, along with, once again, this might be a little bit of a rabbit hole. I consider the idea that because of the social conditioning of what it means to be a man or a woman, they start adopting those qualities and saying, see, now I'm a man or now I'm a woman. Meanwhile, you can be a girl and wear jeans, and you can be a dude who likes chick flicks, right? It's like the way we see ourselves, right? Because we're inside of ourselves. It's, I think, a lot less physical, right? Maybe the physicality seems more for other people, right? How often are you looking into the fucking mirror? Like, honestly, it's more so that you're seeing outside and you're seeing inside. Like, you're seeing outside of yourself and you're looking inside of yourself instead of like straight up, seeing, like, physically seeing yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you're not constantly staring at mirrors, I hope. And I would think most people don't have the time to just do that, right? They got to work, they got to do this, they got to do that. And especially when they're in those modes, let's say you're a fucking well digger, right? If you're doing that, you're probably in the mode of digging the well, but you're still seeing yourself, like, psychologically speaking. Like, you can hear your own mind, your own thoughts. You can think about something. You can hum a song that you're thinking about, or something that's stuck in your head. All right, you think about ideas while you're doing this physical action outside of yourself. So you're seeing the physical things that are not you, and you're seeing the intrinsic things about you simultaneously. And so yeah, there's a whole rabbit hole I think you can go down with the whole trans idea. But if you actually look at it, like, for real, it's normal. It makes sense. It's normal. It's the same as someone wanting to be a fucking astronaut. Same thing. Something existential that they want to express in the world. Not saying we all do it in the most healthy way or in maybe even the best way for their own standards, but these things happen. People express themselves. And I never looked at that as like some sort of like, I'm trying to advance the human race, like on a technological scale. I'm trying to, go beyond human. Like, no, I look at it as just very human. Very, very human. Granted, there are people that just want attention that do weird things in the world. There's people that want to be trans for attention. There's people that want to be astronauts for attention. There's people that want to be tech bros for attention. There's people that want to be this or that or the hot chick or the athlete or whatever, just for the sake of attention, not for existential reasons. Where it's like, damn, I saw my first baseball game and I was hooked. I want to do this for a living. This is what I want to do when I grow up. That's existential. Versus, damn, you see the way those girls look at those baseball players? Yeah, I want to be a baseball player now. Like, oh, you just want the attention of others, right? It's like you don't need baseball for that. Do something like you can, do something else. It could be whatever. But once again, those come off as just existential expressions of maybe deeper, more internal aspects of and faculties of a person. Versus, I'm trying to advance and I'm trying to update my database. Although that can be like a result, right? Especially when you're behaving authentically. But if that's not the case, then you're just losing. I'm going to keep it real. If you're not only lying to others, but lying to yourself about yourself, holy shit. That can cause untold havoc. And guess what? There's a lot of them running around the planet. There's a lot of them. A lot of people with no, let's say, metaphorical mirrors to look into, where they can examine their own lives and see themselves. And a lot of these guys end up being interviewed by the New York Times and or running for president or being president or gunning down innocent people. Like, these things happen.
Or funding presidents heavily.
That can happen too. That can happen too. Once again, I'm not even personally accusing him. I'm just saying, like, if you go by like laws of average here, it seems like a lot of these people with like some pathological issues, psychological issues, don't or that end up in certain places in society, and it's it's whatever. And I don't throw around the word mental illness. I don't just throw that around willy-nilly. To me, it's not the guy in the street talking to himself. That's not mental illness. It's not the person with quote-unquote psychological disorders, whatever you want to call it, multiple personality, schizophrenia, whatever. That's not mental illness to me. That's maybe something where they're like, damn, I don't like that my mind goes here. Someone may not like that, which is fine. Like, they can work on that. But the moment where they take what's happening in their psyches and do it onto others, I consider that mental illness. When they take harm, or when they take these ideas, whatever they're going through, and they harm someone else with it, that to me is mental illness. And guess what? There's a lot of motherfuckers like that running around here. I look at Donald Trump, I'm like, oh, this guy's mentally ill. He's actually mentally ill. Look at his behavior. But because the position and the actions that position takes as president, right? Because they're societally justified, it doesn't look insane. But if you actually look at it, like, this is, like, you're fucking crazy, dude. You're a batshit crazy person. Holy fuck. Like, how often does he's like these guys are like special. These, like, a lot of these presidents and leaders of countries where they just kill untold amounts of people. It's like, how do you sleep at night? How do you sleep at night? And then they tell us where it's for our safety. Imagine how batshit crazy that is. Like, I'm telling you, there's levels of that shit. And that shit to me is mental illness. Or you have these little cheerleaders out here that make content about it and dick ride when they know better. They know what's happening here. It's like something corrupt is happening and they cover it up. Something wrong is happening, they ignore it. That to me is mental fucking illness.
I'm gonna sidetrack you for a second. Look at this picture. It looks like he replaced his eyes.
What? Looks like he replaced his eyes.
Look at the outline.
I don't know. Yeah, it's
Look at
fucking bags under his eyes. So does Al Pacino.
It's all around though, even the top of his eyes.
That could be his. I don't know, like his temple or something, and maybe he has like caveman brows a bit. I don't know. Whatever. It's whatever. Point is, he can augment all. If he does, if this guy knowingly partakes in creepy, harmful things, then there is no tech that can save that psyche. All right, it has to be an existential epiphany type moment. Redemption must be sought. He can take all the TRT, get his eyes replaced, make his dick bigger, hang out with models on yachts and all that shit. That psyche is still toxic as fuck. Like it's like polluting, like so toxic it pollutes. And it's like fuck. We got like the healthy people have to look at this guy. Listen, not saying he's like that. I'm saying like if he was, regular healthy people have to see this guy pollute the fucking planet with his toxic fucking psyche. And that's not a joke. That literally happens. Think of abusive parents with children. It spreads toxicity, bro. They fuck those kids up. And then the kid has to fucking deal with it. And try their best not to turn into a vampire themselves. Right? Which doesn't always happen, right? A lot of times people end up repeating behaviors or becoming accustomed to the abusive environment and then repeating the actions themselves. When it comes to the way the world is, Peter Thiel is no more important than anyone else on the fucking planet. That's the thing about it. The thing where I rant about Donald Trump and saying, oh, he's fucking mentally unhealthy. But, and he's going to do actions in the world, right, that are unhealthy. We've seen them already. But at the same time, some guy or some girl that's just walking the street is doing the same thing on an equal scale. It's equal. Forget about the amount of dead bodies that are piled up, or if someone's not killing anyone at all and they're just, doing these abusive, toxic fucking things, it's still spreading the fucking virus around. And what I've recognized from people's behavior and shit like that is typically people want to form, like, the environment they want to turn it into what it actually looks like internally for them. The world they actually see internally. They almost, a lot of times, subconsciously want to terraform their existence around them, meaning the house they live in, the people they're around, their co-workers, the guy down the street, like terraform it in that image because that's the way they see the world, not realizing other people may not see it that way. I mean, there is no scaling for this to be like, oh, well, this guy, because he's in this position of power, is more important than this guy who has nothing. Like, no. Toxic psyches are just toxic, that same fucking difference. Unique, for sure. But as far as the effects it can have on the world, equal. Because once again, some parent could be abusing their child to become the next Hitler and kill 10 times the people that Trump is going to kill and has killed. With his executive orders, commander-in-chief, or Peter Thiel and the tech stuff. Whatever. I'm just saying, these are things that I have, as far as my attention span and what I've focused on, I've put a lot more stock in regards to how things get better in the world. I think that realm, the psychological realm, the existential realm, the philosophical realm, the spiritual realm, all that stuff, in my humble opinion, is where not only the solutions are, but obviously the problems are at too. I mean, imagine someone who's, like, metaphorically speaking, like they're just pure poison. They're just walking around the planet. and there's murking people all around them, but they're just unaware that they're doing it. Because, like, wait, poison's just the way the world works. Duh. Meanwhile, it's like, no, that's you, you fucking idiot. That's you doing that. That's your world you're fucking spreading everywhere. But I make $200,000 a year, so I can't be a problem. It's like that's when the aliens show up right there. Anyways, all right, let's keep it moving. I think he's about to go into Orthodox Christianity. But yeah, I don't look at whatever transvestites or trans people or whatever people want to be called. I don't look at that as some sort of database upgrade thing or like software update. I don't look at it like that. I just view it as kind of practical and existential and already human. It was already there. We're just finding out about it now because there's internet and there's more social freedoms, right? But that's probably been there. Men and women share they can cross over qualities. Clear, like obviously, because it's just human qualities. That's it. The things that actually get in the way are social. Towards like, hey, you can't. What was it, Ben Shapiro's kid? You can't have those sparkle boots. We got to get you cowboy boots because you're a boy. So stop playing with your sister's dolls and your sister's sparkly slippers, and let's go down to fucking some hunting store and get you some cowboy boots. And it's like, wait a minute, you're cutting off your son's existential journey for him to figure out what the fuck he wants to do with his life. Instead, you're being a dictator of it. Which ends up creating another form of toxicity, which means his kid might do it to his kid. Or it puts shackles on their own children, bro. Like, existentially speaking. I understand protecting someone for their own safety, but this is about existentialism. Who someone wants to be, like they want to express these things. Not saying because a little boy plays with dolls and girl shoes means that they're automatic. Oh yeah, they must be trans. Let's get them the chemicals now. Let's transform them now. It's like, no, let them fucking live. For all you know, you'll be like, you know what? This slipper shit and dolls are boring. I'm gonna go play football now. That looks fun. Boom. Look at that. But you know, us humans like these social shackles. And typically in society, either by physical force or sociological force, you know, like kind of abandoning people or leaving them isolated or scrutinized and all that stuff. We usually in one form or another fuck up the people that tell us we have shackles on. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. Fuck you. Get out of my face. 20 years later. Oh, man, you were kind of right. Damn, man. I'm sorry. Like, bro, you could have figured it out 20 years fucking earlier, dude. Free yourself and the ones around you, dummy. But, you know, things go... we take our time. Sometimes it's fun to be stupid. Anyways, let's continue on with this. He's about to go into Orthodox Christianity, I guess, or whatever. All right, let's see what happens.
Than cross-dressing or changing your sex organs, we want you to be able to change your heart and change your mind and change your whole body. And
it's like, yeah, well, what is that? What is, like, you have to explain consciousness first, which these guys don't have answers for. It's been debated throughout time. They have no answers for it. They don't. Anyways, who cares? Just sign up for the, become smarter and get your Neuralink. All right, here we go.
Then Orthodox Christianity, by the way, the critique Orthodox Christianity has of this is these things don't go far enough. Like that transhumanism is just changing your body, but you also need to transform your soul and you need to transform your whole self. And so,
right.
That's not what it means.
I wouldn't think it means that either. I would consider it more like there's layers of muck covering up the actual pure soul thing. Like, oh, you have all these human things, human experience and physicality and all that stuff. There are actual barriers in between, you know, the barrier between your life you're living, and divinity. So you need to like clear the muck. My virus scanners pop up? Whatever. You gotta like clear up the muck so you can see the pureness of the divinity within all of us. You know, the likeness of God, if you will, God's likeness that we all share. Maybe. I mean, there's different interpretations of everything, but I don't know. What he said, that's a. Need to change your soul and change your what? What do you got?
Transform your soul. If you
Yeah.
stick with just that, and you think about like what Jesus is talking about and all that stuff, it's like you need to recognize your sins and like follow me, who is showing you the better way, so that you're not sinning all the time and you're not hurting everybody around you.
Yeah.
Not you need to replace your heart so you can live longer.
Well, if I change definitions around, if I'm Peter Thiel and I say, well, the definition of your soul is just your heart beating, or chemical reactions that we call emotions. That's your soul, which means it's just chemical reactions, which means we can like fix that. If you're feeling sad, we can fix that by changing the chemicals around, and boom, see, you're not sad anymore. Thus, no need for sin. Hey, you don't want to commit sin, we can go into your brain and change things around to advance it. That might be where this guy's going, which is, once again, to me, batshit crazy, and someone who just woefully ignorant about, like, have you actually looked at existential questions of, like, what it means to be a person? What does it mean? Like, what is it? What is a mind? Like, what is that? What is a soul? What are those things? What is experience? Like, no, we figured it out. It's chemical reactions in this physical machine we call a body. And since it's a machine, we can replace everything. We take out your sad chemicals and add your happy chemicals. Then there's no need for robbing anyone because you'll be happy. You'll be happy.
Spare parts, oil
happy.
changes. When bolts go bad, you replace the bolts. That's the way you look at it. And we're nothing. We're just, there's no such thing as God. So why are you quoting the Bible? We're trying to associate with Christianity. Basically,
Well, because
with
he
your
wants
ideas.
he wants them to join in too. So I'm sure any religion he
I know,
wants them
but
to
I'm
join in.
saying, like, realistically, it's the idea of like subverting the Bible. It always gives me the reference of one of the things that the devil tries to sell you is you can live forever.
Yeah, well, for me, once again, living forever to me is not. That's not some sort of moral infraction to me. It's the actual moral code thing is the more like where you break those things. That's actually where you're fucking up and you're behaving immorally, not living forever, not making PlayStations
Well, I
or
mean, there's
tech
a
shit.
lot.
Like people are
There's
gonna
a
get tricked
lot
by that,
to living
though,
forever.
right?
There's a lot to living forever. Think about like that means I can make more mistakes, I can make more corrections, but then I'm also never gonna die, so nothing ever matters for the moment. The moment's lost. I can always correct mistakes I've
It's
made
not true.
instead of well living for. Well, I guess it gives you time to correct mistakes. Some mistakes you just can't ever correct. Look at this.
I mean, you can be like Jesus, but I live forever, so. But every moment, everything I experience is important to me. But I'm forever. So that's just another existential thing. That it can be done without, immortal tech bodies or whatever the fuck.
Saying, I picture if you could live forever in ways you would go no.
Say that again?
If you could live forever in ways you would go numb. Like you wouldn't care about things.
I think for a bot, yeah, but not for Jordan. Maybe for others, but I would assume you'd get over your social conditioning at some point and be like, yo, even if I died, like, either if I die tomorrow or if I die in 10,000 years or I never die at all, every moment is clear as day important. Just by seeing yourself and then seeing everything else. Like when you see yourself, then you can actually see other things. And once you see all of it, you're like, yeah, everything's important. The fucking button on my pants, the keyboard, it's all fucking important. These things, it's not can they chain react with each other? Like they do. It is a proven thing. Like logically proven, philosophically proven. All things are connected to each other. All events are connected to each other. Something you're doing now is affecting something 10 million years from now. This very YouTube video is affecting the world. It is. So, yeah. Understanding shit like that.
Also, would give
Yeah.
it would also put in your head probably God complexes. If you could live forever, you think you're more important than somebody else's project.
Yeah,
If
if you're
they
a
only
bot.
had a normal. So are we thinking along the lines that everyone's gonna live forever, or certain people are gonna live forever? So then there's a classism to it. Like, since we're gonna live forever, we need to make things work for us, or is it since we're living forever, we need to make things work for everyone because everyone's gonna live.
I mean, I don't know. The way the world is now and the psyches that are running around there and the easily conditioned people, that this would be a struggle of struggles. But I'd be interested to see how. I mean, I'd be like, man, I wonder how people would act if all of a sudden, let's say magically, just one day, snap your finger, boom, everyone lives forever at, let's say, whatever age they want to be, right? Like, oh, whatever age I want to be, I'll
Well,
live forever, boom.
then we would probably immediately switch over to what's sustainable for this living forever.
No, I'm
We
saying
probably
like
gear a lot
magically.
more
I'm, I'm,
that.
I'm saying just magically, everyone just lives forever. It's like magic. Like you don't even need to eat food to sustain yourself. Whatever, you're just forever now. Like physically, whatever age you want to be, you're that forever. If we did that, I'd be curious how people would behave. Like, what would happen? Like, wars would have to end, right? There's no point. But then I think you'd really find out some weird stuff about, like, man, I just love hearing, like, I don't even care about war that much. I just want to hear explosions. Yeah. It's like, oh, okay. So that was your real purpose for doing all this stuff. Got it. Or I want to feel like a hero. Or I want to be important to everyone else. Like, would everything become a wash? We start seeing people for who they really are. Like, what would happen? That'd be interesting to me, but whatever. Way off topic. Let's go back to this video. And Orthodox Christian, they want to change their souls. They want to change their minds. But to me, he sounds like he's talking about car parts. Oh, you want to change your mind? Let's just take that portion of your brain out and replace it with this portion of a brain, and then boom, you're good. And it's like, I mean, these guys are so kind of like, they're such weirdos. These tech guys are such weirdos. I wouldn't be surprised if they called like the new change your body into a supercomputer thing. I wouldn't be surprised if they called the program like this is the Brave New World program, like just to like mock us in our face. Like, bro, stop trolling me. It's the Brave New World program. Hopefully you've seen the movie or read the. I think the books are more famous, but anyways, here we go. Here's more of this shit.
Don't go far enough. Like that transhumanism is just changing your body, but you also need to transform your soul and you need to transform your whole self.
But it's
And
self,
so,
right. But the other,
where,
wait. Sorry. I generally agree with what I think is your belief that religion should be a friend to science and ideas of scientific progress. I think any idea of...
They have to conjoin together. There is no choice about that one. Right?
Well, if man can do it, God allowed them to. So
Okay,
yeah,
that's
sure.
nowhere near the way I'm thinking of it. I would say if your idea is that God is real, right? Wouldn't there be a process of you negotiating the world while also negotiating the idea that God exists?
That's
And
what I
also, if you
just
want
said in a
to, or
different way.
also if you want to prove that, you're gonna have to negotiate the physical world. No, you said God gives us he gives us the, we're allowed to do it because it's here type of shit. Versus,
Okay, God made man in His image, and the idea of man can create. So therefore, God's given us the will to do this if this is the path we go down.
okay, yeah, once again, I'm not going that direction. I'm going with you have to. Unless you want to turn your brain off and say, well, God exists because I wanted to, which is you overstepping God and saying your mind is stronger than God instead of like actually pursuing God. You know what I'm saying? It's you overstepping and saying, well, God's real because I say so. Meanwhile, it's like, no, God is supposed to be real because God's supposed to be real. And how do you get to that conclusion? How do you do that? You use all methods available. Life is those are all your options you use to move towards that. But if you just say it exists because Dad told me, that means Dad's God. Or God's real because Mom told me. Mom's God now. Oh, the preacher told me. That means preacher's God. Because if we take preacher out of your life, all of a sudden, where's God at now? You only got it from the preacher, right? Which means the preacher is actually the creation of God for you. If you say, I just want that to be the case, you're God in that situation. Instead of just actually observing God, which once again requires a process. Use a scientific process, epistemology, things like that. Just simple as observational things, right? But humans they struggle with roles. We struggle with those fucking things. We really do. We put these roles on other people and say, you're this. And we do it so much that we do it to God too. God is this. He's this role he plays for me. Meaning like that. Damn, it's like it's like you're owning God or something. Let God be, bro. Let God be free and do whatever he or she or it wants to fucking do. Why are you putting these fucking rules and shit on there? Let them do it. Anyways, yeah, you would need like science and religion. They can't be separated from each other unless you don't care to actually either understand your religion or understand science. In my humble opinion, because as far as I understand with science, it's not quote unquote religious, but the idea of like what religion represents, which is like the mysteries of the world and man, what's going on? How do you explain the unexplainable? On and so forth. Those questions, those ideas, even the idea of faith is needed somewhat in the scientific world. Well, I wouldn't say needed, but it's a part of. All right. So like I think you should use as an existential expression or trying to understand yourself in the world, you should be observing everything and anything you can get your fucking hands on. You should be like adding your own input to whatever the fuck you see in the world. That's just my opinion. All right, let's continue. Should be a friend, I think, is the wrong words there. I think they are friends. There's no way around it. They are friends. Anyways, here we go.
Should be a friend to science and ideas of scientific progress. I think any idea of divine providence has to encompass the fact that we have progressed and achieved and done things that would have been.
He can say progress, but it's not really progression. Sure, there's technological impression, right? Technological advancements, right? And progression, right? Like we make wheels way better than cavemen made wheels, right? We're better at it. I understand that, but as far as existentially, psychologically, we're not so far advanced. If anyone tells you, I think they're full of shit. If someone said that, like I think like the Steven Pinker idea, where like, oh, we're better now because time passed. Like, no, that means nothing. There are motherfuckers making the same mistakes they made at 5 that they're making at 85. Still making the same psychological mistake, and that's just one lifetime. There's shit we fuck up on that's carried on throughout time, and it's still here. Those kind of visceral, elemental things are still here as far as the way people behave in the world. But, you know, I guess because we have iPods, all of a sudden we're more moral than another time period, or we're more something, like we're more, you could say intelligent, but I don't even think that works either. That's a particular type of intelligence, right? Versus, you know, like some people will say, like, oh, this guy went to Harvard and became a senator in Chicago, then became president. Like, oh, he's smart. See, he went to Harvard. He's smart. He got good grades. He has a law degree. Smart guy. Meanwhile, I'm like, is he though? Is he? If I use my quote unquote intelligence to harm others, I think you're a fucking dummy. I would think that person's fucking stupid. Probably because they don't see beyond, you know, their own nose, if you will. They don't see beyond that. Thus, and in the idea of like a healthy world, like it's just not even in the view of anything. Which means these are actual dumb motherfuckers. It's me learning how to cook a fucking beef Wellington like perfectly, just so I can inject it with rat poison to kill some guy I don't like. Like, hey man, I made you a fucking beef Wellington. Here you go. It's perfectly made. Enjoy it. Just to poison them. And it's like, huh? Are you smart? No, he's a good chef. He's a really good chef. Like, no, he's a fucking murderer, dude. Like, like, is he a good chef? Is poison on your ingredient list? Like, maybe that was a bad example or metaphor, but hey, we're in the weirdo, woo-woo, weird idea range. Anything goes. Anyways, let's keep cutting him off. Let's let him throw the ideas out there. Here we go.
Of scientific progress, I think any idea of divine providence has to encompass the fact that we have progressed and achieved and done things that would have been unimaginable to our ancestors.
I don't think that's
true
either.
But it still also seems like, yeah, the promise of Christianity in the end is you get the perfected body and the perfected soul through God's grace. And the person who tries to do it on their own with a bunch of machines is likely to end up as a dystopian character.
Well, it's let's articulate this.
And you can have a heretical form of Christianity, that says something else.
Well, I think the main difference there is, from what he's saying, the whole God's grace and the immortal body thing of, like, you know, being in heaven, your soul immortal, that type of shit. The idea is that you earn it, all right? And you earn it by character, not by, like, right? You can't buy your way into in this you know, hypothetical idea of heaven, right? You can't just, hey, I ran a Fortune 500 company. Yeah, welcome into heaven. Come on in. We need good businessmen like you. Like, no. It's supposed to be whether you're the poorest person in the world or the richest person in the world. It's about your morals, right? I don't even know exactly what Christianity says in regards to this. It could be like a scale. Like, have your deeds outdone your misdeeds? Or it might be something like, hey, have you truly asked for forgiveness because you commit all these sins? Are you truly, like, sorry about it and want to be forgiven for it? Whatever the idea is or denomination is, either way, it's supposed to be like earned. You earn something from God by being a good person or trying to be a good person or whatever. And I guess having faith in the all-powerful God or whatever. All right? So it isn't just about I don't know, how much material gains you've made. But he might have meant that. Yeah, I guess he might have meant that. I like God's grace. But here we go.
A cool form of Christianity, right? That says something else.
I don't know. I think the word nature does not occur once in the Old Testament, and so
The Old Testament was not written in English, so I don't think it'd be there. There could be mistranslations. There's also possible books that are left out of that fucking thing, on and so forth. So I think there's things that I'm sure imply quote unquote nature, right? Like I think he means like, hey, a forest. See that forest over there, or that jungle over there? That's nature. Meanwhile, like everything is actually nature, right? Like you can go through that scientifically. But let's see where he goes with this. Here we go.
I think the word nature does not occur once in the Old Testament, and so if you and there is a word in which a sense in which the way I understand the Judeo-Christian inspiration is it is about transcending nature. It is about overcoming things, and
Now, I'm not. I almost said I agree, but I don't think that's the right word. I'm gonna think I disagree with where he's going there. But if you like look at the words on their own, like yeah, you can't just and you're supposed to overcome your own nature, the physical thing that's tethering you to the physical world, and you're supposed to like move with grace, right? Which is on the divine level. Follow the Holy Spirit and what Jesus says and do that shit. You're supposed to overcome things like, I don't know, being too sexual or something, like right trying to overcome your physical nature, gluttony or something, or physical greed, right? I want 10 houses. I'll take it from someone else. I'll whatever. Physical violence, harming other people because maybe you felt harmed. You want to physically harm them, like things like that. And like the I guess quote unquote animalistic nature of things, where you're like you just want to beat your chest and beat the fuck out of someone. Right, you're supposed to overcome that. Okay, that makes some sense in words, but I'm not sure that's where this guy's going. But you know what? Let's hear it out. Here we go.
It is about transcending nature. It is about overcoming things, and
there you go.
and the closest thing you can say to nature is that people are fallen, and that's the natural thing in a Christian sense, is that you're messed up, and that's true. But there's some ways that with God's help, you are supposed to transcend that and overcome that.
Well, as far as I understand, in a lot of things, it's like you have to just be like, oh, Jesus, forgive me. I'm a sinner no matter what. I'm a guaranteed sinner no matter what. So thus, I need your forgiveness. Thus, I'll be good. Like God won't shit on me because of it. He won't send me to hell. But and I think the reason for that is like no matter what, we fuck up. Like there's no way around it. Like kind of like because we don't have the full view, the full vista of all the events in the world. Like I don't know. Me once again skipping down the street and I drop one Skittle on the ground could contribute to someone's death somehow. Right? And it's like, damn, I didn't mean to do that. Well, don't worry, we're all sinners here. We're all gonna fuck up. And you need a safety blanket for your fuck up, which is just saying, Jesus, forgive me. I'm a sinner. But I think there's also more, like, there's things that are more egregious, I think, as sins. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of different interpretations, but let's go back to the text stuff. that because it's such a weird like it's a weird topic, but it's more so there's a lot of tunnels and rabbit holes that go down with all of this stuff. I'm trying to like lock in maybe closer to just to make like give like a social assessment here or like a on the surface assessment with the whole transhumanist tech bro shit. And honestly, like socialistically, like on the social level, yeah, this it'll start slowly but surely. Like that's where I think it would go. When have humans truly stopped, including religious people, truly stopped to really think about morality and like behave that way? When does that actually become a thing? Like honestly, even survival shit. Like, do we even work that hard at survival, or are we just playing a game of craps and hoping we fucking win? Right? It's so I'm saying that to say like, oh, the transhumanist stuff, like that looks like it's would easily just come about slowly but surely. It'll start with one guy getting into Neuralink, and then it's 20 people, and then it's thousands, then boom, it's just normal, and it's just here. And it's interesting enough. If you look at things on a psychological level, I think the quote unquote religious response will be as mechanical as these guys, to where like their sense of things are like, or their way of explaining the world is very mechanical. God did this, and one day that God did this. God says don't do that. God says do this. And it's like, wait a minute, that's mechanical. There's no flow to it. There's going to be people that engage in either the religious or transhumanism stuff or into the tech stuff or whatever that do have those properties, but they don't view them as that. Meaning they might not give it time, like really, like to really examine those things. So it's I just expect the same thing we have right now, just more whatever artificial limbs, if you want to call them that, more Neuralinks, more shit like that. Nothing like it'll seem dystopic, but really, like the world we live in right now is dystopic. The world from 50 years ago was dystopic. Like it is what it is. I mean, I'm sorry to tell everyone, but like it was like welcome to the fucking world. There's been like on an existential level, right? If I just do what daddy told me or what mommy told me, how are you fucking living? Like, are you actually living? How about this? If daddy said, hey, be home by 12 and you get home at 2, is that really you? Like, yeah, I'm free. I stayed out an extra 3 hours. I'm free. Is that what freedom means? Really? I thought freedom had a deeper thing to it. I thought it was like Count of Monte Cristo. Like he's in jail, but he's free because he's learning. He's like really existentially going somewhere. You know, a true sense of freedom, not this freedom that is tethered to other things. So I'm expecting just the same problems we already have right now. Just like when there's fucking pharaohs and motherfuckers building pyramids. Same shit. Different aesthetic, different social expression, but the same thing at the core of it. Someone's sad, someone's happy, someone's being taken advantage of, someone's taking advantage of someone else. Those same problems are still here, dude. Ever present, like blatantly they're here. The best people have done so far is just normalize those behaviors. It's like we had this like, oh look, we progressed. We had, instead of having just some king, we have a president. But yet the president does the horrendous things that a king would do back in the day. But no, he has checks and balances. He has people that check him, but yet the same action happens anyways. You see that? Still foot stomping enemies, still killing whoever the fuck you want willy-nilly, still subjugating its own people like a king would. But no, it's different. He doesn't wear a crown. He wears a suit, or she wears a suit. See, look, there's a Congress instead of a council. You know, instead of the King's Council, it's Congress. See, it's different. Same shit happens. All right. The nobles and the lords from back then, where they get extra advantages over everyone else. They're less subjugated than everyone else. They get more benefits than anyone else. Same shit happens today. We just call it a different name. And then, let's be real, those are just social things that you can just blatantly say. On the deeper psychological, existential level, yes, people, the psyche of, the Zodiac Killer or Ted Bundy is still around. There's people doing things in the world that are still have those toxic, malnourished, funky, radioactive looking psyches. Still running around here. Poisonous psyche. Still running around here. Like, straight up. Now, instead of, killing a bunch of fucking college girls, maybe they own a baseball team or something instead. Maybe they're not out there just murdering people. Instead, they could be fucking... What's the word? Like what's like the negative word for like a landlord? Like a whatever. Like a toxic landlord that just fucking shits on its tenants. Right? Like that's still, it's like, to me, I see the same phenomenon. Yes, different actions. Because maybe Ted Bundy had knives back then, but now we have, whatever, something different. Automatic pistols. Or back in the day, they had fucking swords instead. Or the caveman times, they used rocks, whatever, spears or some shit like that. It's like the same thing now, same phenomenon. And no one apparently has time to deal with those things. Peter Thiel's already jumping towards either transmitting consciousness or just rechanging all your parts of your body. And then calling it a soul or calling it a mind. But hey, you know what? You watch Squid Game Season 3, you'll realize that the robots are winning, bro. The artificiality is winning. I mean, to be honest with you, it seems almost like Star Wars. Like back in the day, or not back in the day, but like Star Wars, because no one's put in the work to define what the light side and the dark side actually means, because that never happened. It's up to interpretation. And then religiously, back in the day, people used words like soul and grace and all that stuff, but gave no real definitions to it. Thus, subject to change. And who knows, maybe enough Peter Thiels pop up in the world, or people that are secretly like Peter Thiel, and they're like, yeah, this is your soul. I'm going to uplift your soul. Take this chemical. I'm just saying. I get when people pour their energy into things, but like, why not explore it till you find out the answer? But typically, we don't do that. Anyways, I don't even know where I was going with this video. It's just pure ramblings, thinking about ideas. I just find it interesting. I don't mind going through these things. I have my own ideas out there, I have my own ideas. It's just not really the cool thing to talk about in politics. Although I always talk about it, just no one realizes I am. Anyways, there's your video. Please subscribe if you like, comment, agree, disagree. Tell me what you think. Should we, jump into our AI future and become robots and shit like that? Is it possible? Have you finally scientifically understood what consciousness is yet? Have you done that? If you have, please let me know in the comment section. Don't forget to share, support, hopefully donate to all the links in the description box. Check them out, read them, share them, then donate. And with all that said, give this video a thumbs down.
Say you wanna get in.